All right, fellow presidents, today we're going to continue and complete our tier list for these randomly chosen football or soccer clubs. Unfortunately, this would be our last episode.
Wait, what? But this would only be a total of 22 clubs. There are many other clubs to rank. Why stop the tier list here?
Look, Joe, I'm recording the process of our rankings and posting them onto YouTube. Unfortunately, we'd be out of teams to put on the thumbnail after today.
By the way, I've seen all of your comments. I like how the top comments agree with me. Nobody knows football better than me.
Shut up, Mr. One-Term President. That's clearly pure luck.
Anyway, let's start off with Manchester City. 4 titles from the last 5 in the most competitive league. Surely that's something.
While their lack of any Champions League titles practically means they couldn't be placed in S tier, I believe Manchester City is an easy A tier. Contrary to popular opinion, they do have a history. Their home attendance record was set in 1934, and they are the only defending champions in England to get relegated from the top flight. Combine this with their recent dominance in Premier League, the most competitive football league, means they should go straight into A tier.
Wrong. They are a C-tier club with S-tier lawyers. They've been caught violating FFP rules so many times it's funny. If you want to evade financial rules, you better not get caught. See, I've never been caught.
Yo, Donald, this you? Anyways, I'll be placing Man City in B tier. While their recent dominance in the Premier League cannot be overlooked, and they've managed to escape punishment so far, they have some catching up to do in major honors to get to the clubs in A tier.
That's fair. Hey, look who's next. CSKA Moscow, straight into S tier.
But they aren't even the best Russian team. Care to elaborate, Donald?
It's because CSKA literally means the Russian Central Army, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's going into F tier.
God damn it!
Okay, so up next is DC United. I suspect this will be really easy.
Once a
Washingtonian, always a
Washingtonian.
Washingtonian.
You may say we're biased, but it's not our fault you've never lived in the White House. Sucks to be you, LMAO.
Now it's time to rank Nottingham Forest. I suspect this will be a team that is hard to rank.
This is very true, considering the fact that they are the only team with more Champions League trophies compared to domestic top-flight league trophies. I'm very torn between B tier and C tier, but them spending more time outside the English top division than in the English top division leans me towards C tier.
False. The 3-year period where they get a first division champion as a newly promoted team, followed by 2 Champions League wins, is the greatest 3-season stretch among any club in football history. Just for that, they're going in B tier.
You're really putting them in the same tier as Man City and Chelsea?
Look, they signed 22 players while not having a chess sponsor for 4 months. As a businessman, I respect that.
They've spent too much time away from the Premier League recently, though, as they haven't solidified themselves as a Premier League mainstay. Yet, I'll have them in C tier for now.
Fine, then. Up next is Sevilla, kings of the Europa League. I suspect how you rank them is very much dependent on how highly you think of the Europa League. Do you think the Europa League champions are the second best team in Europe that season, the 17th best, or somewhere in between?
Easily 17th. How many times have you seen the Europa League champions be a team that got knocked out of the Champions League group stage?
Absolutely wrong, Joe. How many times can you name the semifinalists of a particular season? The cruel thing is people only remember the champions. The losing finalists could be remembered 2 at most. Therefore, to me, the Europa League winner is the 3rd best team of Europe in a particular season, and Sevilla has won that 6 times.
Yeah, that's all well and good until you realize how Sevilla have never got into the Champions League semifinals even once in their history, and they have a grand total of 1 La Liga title. Their entire claim to fame is their domination of a second-tier European competition. They're just a C-tier team.
You do have a point, but Leicester City and Nottingham Forest spend more time outside the top flight than in it, while Sevilla is in the top half of La Liga most of the time. Also, I love their absolute domination of the Europa League. B tier, at least, no doubt about that.
I'll be placing them in B tier. Frankly, I am very impressed with both Sevilla and Unai Emery regarding their consistency of achieving great results in the Europa League. It's like they get buffed when being in that competition or something.
Okay, next up is Benfica. Very similar to Ajax, being the team with the most titles of a league just outside the top 5 leagues and a former Champions League winner. So I'm placed them in B tier too.
Also very similar is the massive profit they make from sales of players. The Joao Felix, Enzo Fernandez, and Darwin Núñez sales are all absolutely genius. As a successful businessman, I am impressed. B tier.
As the second ever team to win the Champions League, they do deserve this. That said, the more we rank, the more it feels weird that Man City is in B tier. Do we bump them up?
Bro, I literally said Man City should be an A tier from the start.
Honestly, it takes skill to never get punished. Chelsea, for example, got hit by a transfer ban once, so maybe we should bump them up.
Unfortunately, you aren't going to escape punishment from the law, ha.
Shut the fuck up, Obama. I've not been jailed yet. I am still a free man, and I will run for president in 2024 to make America great again.
Now you're being obnoxious, Donald. Anyway, what do you all have to say about Reims?
They were a really good team in the 1950s, managed to be Champions League runner-up twice. But since 1980, they have been really meh and barely spend any time in Ligue 1. I'll say C or D tier.
They had a 19-game unbeaten run in Ligue 1 at one point this season. I would say they're on a great trajectory with a promising young head coach. Combine that with their past successes, and I would place them in C tier.
Sounds fair to me. Up next is Monza.
We're ranking football clubs, aren't we? What's this F1 track doing here? Straight into F tier.
God damn it, Donald, you stole my joke.
I mean, what else do you expect me to say about them?
To be fair, the only thing I know about AC Monza is this is their first season in Serie A in their entire history, so I'll put them in F tier.
I see that Liverpool is next. 19 English top flight titles would be only one less than Manchester United, who have the most, and their 6 Champions League trophies is tied for third most. You'll never walk alone is also perhaps the single greatest soccer-related catchphrase. Therefore, because of all that, I'll have them in S tier.
Whoa, hang on right there, Sleepy Joe. I'm not having a team with a 29-year league title drought as recent as 1990 to 2019 join Real Madrid and DC United in S tier, A tier at best to me. I simply cannot justify Liverpool being ranked higher than Barcelona and Man United, who are both historically and commercially way bigger clubs.
Donnie, have you already forgotten the 1970s and 80s where Paisley had them being one of the best teams in the world? And yet you say I have dementia. What a joke.
How the hell are you advocating for Liverpool and talking about their past successes without even mentioning Shankly, who built the foundation for that successful team? Stop denying you have dementia, you senile fuck.
While those two old twats debate about things from decades ago, I'll just say it's a huge shame that Klopp hasn't won more Premier Leagues or Champions Leagues with Liverpool. I'll be having them in A tier for now.
Fine. Bayern, meanwhile, has continuous dominance over the Bundesliga that none of the other top 7 leagues has ever seen. They have 31 Bundesliga titles, while the next most has 5 or 9, depending on whether you include titles from before Bundesliga's formation. They also have 6 Champions Leagues, which is also joint third most. Surely they are S tier?
No complaints from me. They probably have more overseas fans than all other German teams combined, and are also the dream destination for at least 90% of players playing in the Bundesliga. But most importantly, I am most impressed by how they managed to convince pretty much all local fans of German teams to accept their dominance and continue with 50+1.
Another easy S tier it is then. Only PSG left to rank, and then we can go grab some ice cream.
Oh boy, PSG, where do I even start? They've spent absurd amounts of money, more than the other French teams. The Neymar and Mbappe deals are the 2 most expensive in history and broke the transfer market. Both of them and Messi earn absurd amounts of wages, and somehow they've not won Ligue 1 twice since 2012 and have a grand total of 0 Champions Leagues. Their squad building is horrendous, and the Neymar, Mbappe, and Messi deals are probably all failures. Neymar is injured over half the time. Mbappe was actually fine until he wanted to leave, and the club were like a simp and made him sporting director, while Messi's heart isn't even at Paris and is actually either at Barcelona, Rosario, or Riyadh. They are absolute shit when you consider how much they fucking spent. Straight into F tier.
Hang on, Donnie, weren't you all about international brand recognition when talking about Man U and Barca? What happened now? It's PSG, and they signed one of the greatest players ever on a free transfer, and you call it a failure? You're just being overly emotional. PSG belongs there with the others in B tier. They aren't worse than Reims.
Have they been one of the best teams in their own country for decades and have multiple Champions League wins like Benfica and Ajax? Have they dominated European competition like Sevilla? Have they won the Champions League recently like Chelsea? C tier is the highest I can put them. Just be quick, Obama. I want my cookie dough ice cream fast.
Okay, fine. I'll put them in C tier because they're playing in a farmers league and they are the least efficient spenders in any European league. Hopefully this increases the video engagement and we can get more views and comments.
Gaming the system there, Barack. I like it.